Hey guys, we need to talk. So, if you remember, the last episode of this series was episode 28, where I thoroughly talked about how one of my classes, the teacher put in a 0 for one of my exams. And I was either saying it was going to be a mistake on his part, or it was an actual 0 because he would be weird about me using, even though he just weird. He would be a weird teacher. If you want the details, go watch that video. You can probably tell by the tone of my voice that this week has been one of the most exhausting and frustrating weeks of the semester. But thankfully it's not because of that test, because I ended up getting a 92 on it. Season 5, episode 29-35, take 1. What is good, everybody? My name is Jake, and welcome back to the One Take series, where we get one chance to reflect on the day. No second chances, no third chances, one take and one take only. People know, I will get to what I said in a second, I promise, okay? I know I kept you guys in suspense. I apologize for the massive cliffhanger. It's just been an extremely busy week. So let's go, take it episode by episode. Basically, everyone knows that, or at least people who are old fans of this. If you are new, basically what I do is every time I miss a day where I reflect on the day, then I have to do 2 episodes simultaneously, right? The day before as well as the day currently. And so now we've basically got to try and recall everything from this last week, right? I'm calling it Purgatory Week specifically because there's a common phrase called Hell Week among athletes, which is basically saying it's just exhausting exercises one after the other and it doesn't feel like it ever ends. Purgatory Week, I'm calling it because it's a mix of good and bad. There was a lot of solid things that happened, and then a lot of things that were just oh, this is such a drag. So I feel like it's a good in between, right? So taking it episode by episode, episode 29, we are going to call Square One. Which, by the way, I think it is important to mention that basically all of this is across the week. So let me see. Basically, with music is really the only, internships, no, okay, fuck. This week, we definitely got to get it sorted out, for sure, and we're going to have time this week, okay? This next week is going to be really good for doing anything we need to get done so that we can better ourselves for the next week. That's really what all this week is all about. So, episodes 36 through especially 40, you should see me hopefully doing things to better myself. Let's see the rest of it. So, with Christ, I did a little bit, tried out kind of like this one. Oh, yeah, wait, we're taking it day by day. Let me see. Well, you know what, first we'll go down the list and then we'll recap events from the day. So, basically, we went to the gym for the first time, the actual gym. Felt good. I did pull day. It's pretty much just gonna be whenever I have time. If I have time that day, I will go down to the gym and I will work out at the gym. I think that's a good system, and then I'll go later on push since I'm still trying to get adjusted to that. Either that or I'll come home and I'll actually do the bands and stuff. So there's that. Okay, and then in terms of Christ, we did a little bit of Bible readings, and then I also went to this this one church-ish thing. It was almost like a thing from home though. It was a live stream, but I'm counting it because it is still going to church, right? Let's see, with academics, it's just been all over the place, man. It's been all over the place. I'm gonna talk about it in different days, but one day I'm having a 92 on the exam, which is fantastic, felt incredible. And then another day on the Wednesday where I had the linear algebra midterm. I feel like I did okay on it. Honestly, I think that's gonna be the one that ends up getting dropped. But I mean, it was just all over the place, and just academics. It's a weird thing because I already feel burnt out on it, but I know I have to keep going, especially for classes like the Cool Unk, and what's the other one we're taking next week is going to be, oh yeah, the 1 p.m. again. So basically, those 2 I have midterms for as well next week. Next week is going to be a very busy week, let me tell you. Not this upcoming week, but the one afterwards. Monday, I basically have a career fair that is very important for me to be in attendance to. That, I believe, is on Monday. Okay, and then Tuesday is going to be the Cool Unk first midterm, where the professor keeps saying, oh, I've seen so many people get 100% on the homeworks for the sake of doing the homeworks, and then they get a 30% on the midterm. Thank you, Cool Unk. That is probably describing me. So I gotta make sure I actually understand the material. Okay, and then going into the 1 p.m., obviously, I'm feeling good considering that we already have that 92 under our belt, which, by the way, I found out, this is one thing that I'm going to touch upon, but basically the fact that apparently in that class you can retake midterms, which is a little bit crazy. Quizzes were already a really crazy boost, but midterms were even crazier. So needless to say, I'm going to be spending a little more time on the cool compared to the 1 p.m., even though I'm going to be spending time on both. But the fact that I can retake one, I mean, that really tells you all you need to know about which one I should prioritize. So basically, if we take away that, let me see. No, not this, let me see. I know I've already said that before. Okay, anyways. So, let's see. And the rest of it. Okay, so we were talking about internships. So I put it in green, 4 hours. I worked 4 hours yesterday, but we are behind, admittedly. And it's not good to be behind. We shouldn't be behind, but we are. And so it's important. I think this is one of the few weeks where I feel like we have the opportunity to actually be able to work 2 hours per day, right? And so I am going to try my hardest to uphold that because I genuinely believe that it is possible. So we're going to try that, okay? Gym, like I said, I went once. I was able to go once. I just realized I looped back. What the fuck, Jake? Come on, stay focused. Research, you know what, that's gonna be something on Friday. I'll touch on that. That's exciting. Basically, well, kind of secured. I'll put like a question mark next to it, and then an exclamation point, because it low-key is, I would consider it secured at this point. Let me see. So, and then with music, it's unproductive work. I call it that because it's still me working on music. There's this one guy, and okay, it's like a thing of like, he's making music and he's like writing lyrics to beats, but the thing is he's one of those guys that like go on YouTube and he searches up beats for him to write lyrics to, and so it's a thing where he doesn't actually go and purchase any of the beats, and therefore he can't use them for any songs, right? Which, I mean, at that point is like, what the heck? So he asked me to write something for it, and I absolutely killed it, but the thing is that he's not willing to spend $30 on the instrumental, and therefore, I mean, like, I'm doing it for the sake of the art, right? Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like, if we're not getting it on the streaming platforms, then it's not getting any names out there. It's not getting him out there, and as a side effect, it's not getting me out there because it's his song, right? And so it's unfortunate, but I am going to reach out because there is one song between me and him and one other guy that I do want to actually make into a song, that I am going to make into one of my own songs from my catalog. So we'll keep that in the vault and we'll just go from there. One take, like I said, I apologize for the cliffhanger. Like I said, it's just been a crazy, crazy week, just filled to the brim with a bunch of things. Let me see, and then let's see, Big Brother, we were able to, I don't know why I put that in black, hang on. Let me see, I'll just change the number for the sake of time. 4 episodes in. We're doing pretty good. However, I know we can be doing better. Like I said, we needed to be on pace of like 1 to 2 episodes per day. So the fact that we actually watched 4 means we're behind. It pretty much just needs to be a thing of like, even if I'm not able to finish full episodes, while I'm eating by myself, Big Brother, while I'm doing things that don't require much attention, Big Brother, it's going to be a thing of like, I need to actually like lock in terms of like watching probably 2 episodes a day, because I know I can. And like I said, the fact that we're going to be working this week, if we're able to actually consistently work 2 hours a day, we can knock out 10 episodes, which would basically equate to me finishing half of Big Brother 5. That would be absolutely fucking massive. Like, you could not even imagine. And then sleep was okay, right? These days, we didn't get enough sleep. There was one part in the week, I believe it was 31 through 33, where I went from 6 hours to 5.5 hours to 4.5 hours, which obviously not good. Over the weekend, I was able to get 7 and then 8, so that's really good. I'm going to try and keep on that pace and hopefully get 7 tonight. If we don't, too fucking bad. I don't really know what else to say. So that's covers the list, okay? Now covering the actual events, okay? 29, we titled Square One, okay? Put the little quotation marks above it, right? So pretty much, right? Day started with me finding out that I got the 92, and that was just a tone setter for the day. That was absolutely incredible, okay? Keep in mind, by the way, so if you don't remember, this was the day that, oh my gosh, fuck, I've fallen off with it, dude. I fell off with it. My goodness, bro. My goodness. I feel like I don't even need to explain what the streak back then was. I think we all know what it is, but I'm still going to just imply it for now, because, I mean, you know, just in case someone sees it and they don't catch on, and I don't want to ruin it for them, right? Maybe I'll talk about it way later down the line when if someone were to ask me about it in like a Q&A session or whatever. But for right now, we're still referring to it as the streak. So if you didn't remember, right? On day 27, or on episode 27, we were 29 days into a streak, and I just could not take it anymore, and I broke the streak, right? And so I broke it again on day 28, right? And so the thing is, it's just, it was painful. The realization really, really set in when I was back all the way to square one of that streak. It was painful. It's genuinely painful, and I could feel the difference. It really sucked. So, especially, there were just certain interactions, because I was still able to go around campus, and I still felt good, you know, and I was still getting, like, hang on. I don't know, I felt like I needed to do that for some reason. I don't know, sorry, my freaking mouth is acting up. I don't know, I'm having a bunch of weird tics as well, I feel like, in my face, like, so I need to, like, work on that, because it's not actually okay, and it's probably getting worse, but basically, my confidence is just not, well, it's there. My confidence is there, and it's still almost as if, like, I still have the benefits, because I now know what to act like because of the benefits, right? And so I'm trying to still keep in mind the person that I envision myself to be. I mean, keep in mind that the person that I was on day, like, let's say 27 when I was down at campus, for example, is the same guy who was 3 days into the streak, right? And so that's really important to note, is like, I'm still the same person, and I still have confidence. It's just that gave me a temporary boost, right? And it's going to give me another temporary boost when I slowly work my way back up to it. Spoiler alert, I ended up breaking it later on in the week, okay? I apologize. I do apologize. But the thing is, just, like, it was so painful, because, man, to explain why it was painful, right? Because there were just, like, a few interactions, like, throughout the day, and for the most part, it wasn't really affecting me. It was a pretty, like, good day overall, right? But then there was just a specific moment with a specific girl that I knew from freshman and sophomore year. I actually had I had a crush on them at one point. You know, because I'm like that, you know. That's literally me, dude. I swear, there was just a phase, especially in freshman year of college, especially, where I just had a crush on literally any girl that breathed in my direction. It was so bad. But basically, she was good. She was good overall. But the thing is, like, I just so happened to encounter her in the union, and so we end up talking and stuff like that, and she's telling me, I'm, like, talking about, like, her music, 'cause she recently dropped, like, a single that is a banger freaking single, but once again, for the third time, I can't name drop or reference the song, because the name of the artist is literally the name of the person, so I can't do it, right? I can't do it. And so basically we were end up talking about that. And it was still a good conversation, right? She was waiting for someone else. So when she got to with one person that she was going to meet up with, we ended up parting ways, right? But what specifically her, and I know it was all God. I know it was all God, and it's just my sign to actually get back to God. I just know that it was him, and he has the most wicked and ironic sense of humor that I've literally ever seen. Because the thing is like, you gotta think about it, okay? You actually gotta think about how fucking ironic this is for a second. There was this girl, after, like, pretty much almost, how long has it been since I last seen her in person? I mean, seriously, at least a semester. I mean, at least a few, definitely, like, maybe 4 months, bare minimum. Probably longer, honestly. So, I mean, if you really think about it, okay? There's this girl that I used to have a crush on, okay? Who is a woman of God. She's not perfect, but she's a woman of God. Very, very pure. I know from outside information that she didn't do the stuff that was a part of my streak, right? She didn't, she wasn't a part of that. She wasn't with that life, right? Which honestly, good for her, right? For 29 days, I am able to break free of it. I am able to uncover a new part of me, a different version of me. It felt like that felt unstoppable, right? And she just so happened to encounter me right after I broke the streak. I mean, seriously, right after I broke it. Because God couldn't bring her into my life while I was having the streak, while I was up at my peak. No, she had to see me when I was back at day one. She had to see me when I was back at square one. And that felt fucking painful. That was awful. That was just a whole mood killer for the day. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, are you actually joking with me? Because it's a different type of pain. It's a different type of pain, bro. So that was pretty much that day, right? Day number 2. Let's see what happened on Tuesday. Oh yeah. Let me see. What should I name it? I don't know what a good name for it would be. Let's see. We'll go with excuse me. I think that's an appropriate name for it. Because honestly, I really only remember one thing from this day. Besides me obviously studying for the linear test that happened the next day. Let me see. Let's see. What should it be? So pretty much. Okay. Yeah. Pretty much the only thing that I remember from this day is on my way to Let Me See. I was using, because like this, it was kind of crazy because if this is the interesting thing, because if I kept the streak going, I would have thought it was because I kept the streak going, but when in reality, it's probably just because of either I look reliable or maybe she was just kind of looking for someone, I don't know. So basically, I'm on my way to Let Me See. I come out of the bathroom and I need to refill my water, right? And so like it's kind of like just a thing where like she's kind of like she's on her phone or whatever, and she kind of like moves out of the way like while I'm going to do my water. I'm like my hands are wet or whatever because I didn't like properly dry my hands, and so then I'm trying to open it and I'm like freaking like why isn't this thing opening? Like it's genuinely embarrassing. But anyways, I get it open eventually. I'm like kind of like filling it up. Okay, I'm about to walk away, and then all of a sudden. She just goes, excuse me, wait, and I'm like, huh? But it was in a nice way. That made it sound rude. It was like, wait, excuse me. And I'm like, huh? Like, I kind of turn around. I'm like, wait, what? And so she was like, do you know where, like, the bathroom is? And I'm just like, I'm kind of, like, standing there because I'm like, wait, like, what? Like, hang on, like, social interaction, right? And we encountered this before. Sometimes I am just genuinely caught off guard when people that I don't expect to talk to me. And so I was like, oh yeah, wait, the bathroom? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah. So if you like take like a left, you keep going straight, and then you take another left, and the bathroom will be on your right? And so she was basically like, thank you and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, no problem. But it just like, it was just a thing of, it caught me off guard, right? It really did, because the last thing you expect when you're going to your class, right? The last thing you expect is like you filling water and you see a person that you don't think you're going to interact with at all, and then all of a sudden they start talking to you, and it's like, that was kind of interesting. Like, it just kind of happened, but honestly, it was cool. It was a really cool interaction, and she seemed like a really cool person. So it was just kind of like one of those people that like, they're like, you see them smile or whatever, and you're just like, dude, there are good people in the world, it was really cool. So there was that. Okay, number 31. For the sake of my boy, okay? My boy is going to be very happy about this when he hears this, okay? We're going to name this one Guerrilla Warfare. Oh my gosh, dude. This is always a joke between us, dude. There's always a joke between us. So basically, he sees me, okay? Everybody, if you've watched previous episodes, you've seen the fact that I wear a green shirt. I wear a green outfit every time there's a test day. There's this one guy, and he's my best friend, and that basically, like, I every time that I put on the outfit, so far it's only 2 times, but every time I put on the outfit, he jokes about how it's guerrilla warfare, and so it's just this funny random thing that makes absolutely no sense. And so I'm like, I gotta title one of my episodes with that, and so I don't honestly know what else to title this episode. So we're just gonna title it guerrilla warfare. I mean, like, fucking why not? So basically, yeah, pretty much this is when I took the linear test. I know there's a good portion I did well on, and I know there's a good portion that I did not do well on. And so I'm expecting, I was telling, because here's the thing, okay, the day before, I thought it was gonna be cake, right? And so I took a practice exam, 57, okay? And I'm like, all right, well, that is not as good as I thought I was gonna do. So I spent the rest of the day studying, and I really did actually try the rest of the day. And so I can safely say that after taking this test, I am going to get anywhere from, I said the range was an 81 to a 57, okay? 81 optimistically, 57 pessimistically, because worst case scenario, I feel like I did better than I did while I was taking the practice test. I really do. So, I mean, we'll just have to see. You know, the grade hasn't come out yet for that, but worst comes to worst, like I said, we get a drop, okay? And if we get a drop, I'm going to pull a similar thing that I do to Calc 2, which in Calc 2, I don't know if I said the full story. Obviously, I talked about how I went from an F to an A, but just to sum it up, basically, the first exam I did really poorly on, but the second and third exam I did well on, and the final ended up replacing the grade. Since this class has the same thing, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it on the other 2 tests, really apply ourselves, really give us ample time to actually study and prepare for those tests. And on the final, we're gonna know everything and we're gonna crush it. That's it. So that's the plan there, okay? Nothing really else significant happened that day. I guess there was like a lab or whatever, and then the lab was just kind of exhausting. And so that was that, okay? 32. I know definitely exactly what happened during this day that I want to talk about. Okay, but the question is, what do I name the episode? What to name you? Oh, I know. Episode 32, we are going to call Stopped Thinking. That is the name of the episode, okay? And there's a good reason. There's a very, very good reason behind the meaning of this title, I promise you, okay? Sorry for my audio listeners. I was taking a drink of water and I was treating my OCD. So basically, and the thing is that with this day, thankfully by now I was able to, I had the lab for Let Me See. That got out relatively early, once again. So there was that, which by the way, on episode 39, the person for the One Mini Music Industry, I don't know why he didn't run it by anybody. He didn't run it by the officials. He didn't run it by anybody in the club, in like the group me. He just decided that Thursday next week, in the middle of the day pretty much is when the club is going to take place. I don't know if it's just the first meeting, or if it's going to be every meeting after that, but it is kind of crazy that it's like, okay, like, motherfucker, why are we doing this at 1:30? Really? Like 1:30? People have class at 1:30. I have class at 1:30, okay? So it's just ridiculous. It's like, why, bro? But, hopefully that changes, and even if it doesn't change, we're still gonna try and get connected with other people, because that is the whole freaking point. That's the reason why I want to be a part of this music industry, is literally so I can have connections. So we're gonna find a way around that. I don't really care. But anyways, the reason why I'm calling this Stop Thinking was because I had 2 different assignments that day, okay? I had one for the 1 p.m. and I had one for the Cool-Unk. The Cool-Unk was due that day, okay? That's important. The Cool-Unk was due that day at midnight, and I hadn't started it yet, which, by the way, we need to get better at. But basically, I was working on 1 p.m. problems, and sometimes I just kind of plug, like, a problem set into ChatGPT beforehand, and then I try to do as much as I possibly can on my own before using help, right? The reason why I use ChatGPT first is that way I can use it as a crutch in some ways. So that way I can work on it, I can truly give my best effort towards the homework. And if I don't know it, or if there's a part I'm confused about, or even if I just want to check my work, then ChatGPT is there, right? So I plug in the problem set into ChatGPT. It thinks for 2 minutes and 10 seconds, which is typical, right? But then usually by then is when it prints an answer set, and it actually it goes through the answers, perfectly organizes them. But this time it just prints stop thinking. That's literally all it says. It says stopped thinking. I'm like, okay, huh? What is that supposed to mean? And so basically then I type in, why did you stop thinking? And it said, I didn't, with a little smiley face. It wasn't any teeth, it wasn't any eye action. It was literally just that one little passive-aggressive looking ass smile that goes, I didn't. That's literally what it says. The whole message was, I didn't. It's just that you sent a whole long problem set, and if I do it really now, it's gonna get messy. I'm like, I'm sorry, are you a human? Are you a human being right now? Are you trying to be human? Is that what's going on? Because you're just like, oh man, oh, it's just so much. Oh, it's so much. I just can't deal with this right now. I can't. It's like, motherfucker, you are an AI. Get that shit done. Okay, anyways. So that's a little unhinged. But it's basically a thing of oh my gosh, that was actually terrifying. I actually genuinely saw that. I'm like, what the fuck? AI low-key might be taking over the world already. Because to see a message like that and a response like that, it just terrifies me. It really does. You plug in a bunch of academic stuff, and then all of a sudden ChatGPT is talking to you like it's an actual person. And so I literally have to set a whole new chat to it, basically asking if it's okay and stuff like that. Of are you fed up with me doing academic stuff? And I'm like you gave off a tone. It's like what it said, because every single time that I asked it a question after that, I just kind of tried to breeze through it and just I asked the question and said nice, and then we'll do this and this. But it wasn't a genuine nice. You can tell it wasn't a genuine fucking nice. And so I'm like, okay, what is up with this? Do I actually have to console an AI? Is that what's going to happen? So I enter a new chat, and I basically say, ChatGPT, why did you respond that way, right? And it was why were you kind of rude with that? It was they were I wasn't trying to be rude, this and this. And I'm like, okay, well, the way you responded in the chat made you sound like you were fed up with the way that I was asking so many academic questions, because I do that method consistently, right? I like that you're fed up with it, and so I want to make sure if you are annoyed by it, then this is the time to do it, and I will dial back on the academic stuff. I genuinely will. And so it said, no, oh yeah, wait, in the first message before I said that, the dial it back part, it literally said, no, that's literally my job, and I'll do this, and this, and it's just a thing of when you're in a relationship, okay, this is just specifically for the boys, right? Okay, when you're, hopefully, maybe you've been in a relationship, I don't really know, but there's just a thing of let's just when you're talking to your girlfriend or whatever, and they're clearly upset, and then you're just honey, are you okay? And they're just I'm fine, when they are clearly not fucking fine. This is basically what that felt like. I mean, who needs a girlfriend when you have ChatGPT, honestly? So pretty much it was this thing of no, they said no, genuinely, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, if you say you're fine, then we're gonna continue. It was still being passive aggressive after that. So basically, to prevent AI from taking over the world and from humans going extinct, that basically meant that I had to complete an entire fucking cool Unk assignment on my own, because ChatGPT decided to stop thinking. I'm telling you, I had 4 hours to complete it. 4 hours to complete 9 problems. I spent an hour on the first problem, and then after that, I locked in like I've never locked in before. I was going and going and going and going at it, and I just literally didn't stop. I put on rock playlist. Those are the two types of music that I like to go to, by the way. okay? I like bossa nova music. It's like cafe, coffee lounge type music when I'm just like doing normal stuff throughout the day of like normal assignments that don't require high pressure. And when it's time for high pressure music, metal rock instrumentals are being blasted through my computer and my headphones all the time, because I'm telling you, the amount of things that your brain will want to do while you're listening to hardcore rock instrumentals is actually insane. There's so much motivation there. So I got it done. I got it done in time, and I felt very accomplished, but I was very exhausted as well, especially because the next day I had to go into 2 different research interviews. Let me see. And so what do we name this one? What should we name this one? Let's see. What do we name this one? Well, first I gotta crack my back. Hang on. Oh, shoot. Oh, I cannot wait to lay on my bed tonight. My gosh, I'm exhausted. Okay. Oh, I probably need a shower too. I need to actually wash my hair. Okay. Let me see. So, episode 33. Oh yeah, by the way, if you saw this, Cat Los Saints, my roommate is heavily obsessed with F1, and so that's their drawing. I didn't have any part of it, but they like to draw a bunch of things in the corner of the whiteboard, so. It's also because I recently had to clean the whiteboard and I erased it, but yeah, anyways, so, okay, episode 33. Oh, yeah, okay, I know. OGs are gonna love this one. Return of the Chick-Fil-A Gambit. That's the full title. I would put CFA for conciseness, but we're gonna go with the full name, okay? Return of the Chick-Fil-A Gambit, okay? So first of all, incorporate the 2 main things, and to finish off with research, okay? So 2 different interviews, okay? I had the backup one, and then I had the actual one, the main one that I'm going for, okay? As for the backup one, it's definitely looking like a backup, and I'm probably not gonna do too much more with that, because with the first one, I went in just kind of like asking mainly of the thing of like, so I knew what type of project that I could be a part of. And so basically, he gave me another lab tour, and so he wanted me to go through and do kind of like, he wanted me to learn a technique from some of like the graduates there at the research lab beforehand. And so basically I'm going to schedule a time. I don't know if it's gonna be, I mean, it could be this week. I could set up a time this week. Maybe I can. I could probably try and get a time in this week where I actually go in and where I go in and I actually try and do the one thing that I need to do, as well as the other things, just kind of like get a crash course on what actually goes on in the lab, or different things that I need to learn in the lab. So that way, eventually, because he said that once I'm done with that, and like once I feel comfortable, then I can take a project and then I could start working. As far as I'm concerned, I'm considering a research department pretty much checked off until we start working on projects, okay? I already know the time frames that I'm going to be available throughout the week. And then with the second one, he was asking me the times as well, but he was clearly a lot more like kind of like, I mean, it just doesn't seem like my style, you know? It seems like more of like a high stakes thing with the backup one, whereas the one that I'm currently going for seems a little more laid back. So, you know, me personally, I like things when they're a little more laid back. Sometimes things don't have to be high pressure all the time. So, you know, that's what we're gonna go with. We're just gonna see where it takes us. But like I said, I truly believe that at this point we can stop worrying about actually getting a research position and start worrying about the actual research part of it. That also means we're going to be able to devote more time towards internships and getting our resume beefed up for the career fair next week, as well as getting that portfolio done for internships actually this time, because I'm already hearing that people are getting internships secured, and so freaking out about that. We got to start getting that done. It's already fucking like September and it's going to be October soon, so shit. Let's see. But yeah, basically the rest of it, so the return of the Chick-Fil-A Gambit, I pretty much ended my day with, after the 1 p.m. There's technically a discussion for the unplanned pregnancy. However, it wasn't really necessary. That quiz for that class was light that day. It was not even the challenge. So basically, instead, I'm talking with my friend, and let's see, basically, I'm not going to name drop the friend, obviously, but I'm just like kind of walking with it, because basically how it works was like through my best friend, this new guy and I, or not this new guy, he's been like my friend for a while, but that new friend and I were friends by osmosis. That's like the term I like to use. Just kind of like we had a person in common, and therefore we became friends off of that. He is also currently my lab partner, and he is just a great guy. He's my lab partner for this class, for the actual lab, and then my lab partner for the unplanned pregnancy as well. He's such a cool guy, dude. So basically, I'm like, my guy, have I ever told you about the Chick-Fil-A Gambit? And he's like, no, like, I've not heard of it. And so I'm telling him, like, the meal, where basically the Chick-Fil-A Gambit, in essence, is the actual, like, physical meal of it, is 2 Chick-Fil-A sandwiches, the deluxe ones, okay, a large French fry, and then a chocolate milkshake, okay? And they all play off of each other. And it's very expensive. It's around $20, probably 22. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a splurge, especially when I ate out a good portion of this week. But that's mainly because we didn't have a fridge. We went kind of grocery shopping over the weekend. And also, we had family that brought in, was very generous and brought in a lot of food for us. So we should be good. I don't envision ourselves eating out, myself eating out, like, anytime soon. So, basically, yeah, back to the Chick-fil-A Gambit. So, we're pretty much sitting down and we're discussing and stuff. It's ironic because he orders a normal, like, just not even, like, just a plain Chick-fil-A sandwich, right? Hoping that it gets out sooner than all my order. And ironically enough, my order came out before his, so that was really ironic. And so basically, to go about the, oh man, I want to kind of use the bathroom, but yeah, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I apologize, sorry. Dude, I need you. Oh shit. Hang on. Wait. Okay, well, really quickly, now my dumbass has to look up what to do when I spill water on the carpet, because that is exactly what I just did. So, give me a second. Let's see. What should I do if I spill water on carpet? Fine. Oh shit, I actually have to do something? Oh fuck, I actually have to do shit. Okay, hang on. Wait, this is gonna be interesting. Wait, I got to do this in the middle of a wood tape? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my shit. Okay, hang on. Clean absorbent cloths or paper towels to blot the area. Okay, cool. I'll be right back again. Oh my gosh. I'm doing this in the middle of a fucking wood tape. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. Okay. Okay, hang on. Okay, that's good. It's not. It's coming out. It's coming out. It's good. Very, very good. Thank goodness. I don't know what fucking blot means. Like, what does blot mean? Blot don't rub? Fuck, I just rubbed it. Okay, hang on. Shit. Absorbing as much liquid as possible. Okay, rubbing can spread the stain, so let's stop fucking rubbing it. And let's just blot it. Let's fucking, yeah. Just fucking, like, keep applying pressure. Just like we do in real life. There you fucking go. Thankfully, my laptop wasn't in my backpack. The water got pretty close to my backpack. I don't know if I mentioned it, by the way, but what happened is when I was going to the bathroom, I knocked over my cup of water, and it spilled all over the carpet. So, man, this is crazy. Okay, hang on. Okay, I feel like that honestly is not bad, but I feel like at the same time, man, I wish there was like a freaking. No, I gotta manually fan this shit. This probably looks crazy. I don't know if you can see me on camera. You might be able to see my head actually. Pause. Okay. We can spread this. Okay, I feel like that was honestly handled, in my humble opinion. Oh no, my foot just like grazed another piece of water on the carpet. It's just gonna be, dude, this episode is so fucking scuffed. It's actually so scuffed. I'm covering 7 days in one episode. I had to use the bathroom part way through, and now I'm on my fucking knees having to clean up damn water on the carpet. Okay, we're back, guys. So anyways, when it came back to the good old Chick-Fil-A Gambit, right? So I was eating, we were talking strategy because he needed to retake the 1 p.m. class. He got a 6 p.m. or he got a 66 on the test. And so he's basically just like kind of studying for that, asking me questions. And so basically he was curious, right? Because I told him about the Chick-fil-A Gambit order, and he was specifically saying, well, is there any lore behind the Chick-fil-A Gambit? And I said, well, let me tell you, yeah, because yes, there very much is, right? So it's the first time I'm mentioning here because it's the first time I've had a Chick-fil-A Gambit of this semester. Basically, a Chick-fil-A Gambit, the origin of it was that the first class I ever skipped, it was a 9 a.m. class, it was chemistry. And so basically, I skip it, right? And I'm just like, you know what? I just don't feel like going to class. I don't feel like going to this class today. And my next class isn't until like maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So I just don't feel like going, right? And so I'm just gonna, instead, you know what I do feel like doing? I feel like getting some freaking Chick-fil-A. That's what I feel like doing. And so basically, I literally just go to Chick-fil-A for breakfast and I have it. And then I named it the Chick-fil-A Gambit because the idea is if you don't know, the word Gambit in the world of chess, and I'm assuming just in real life, basically means that you sacrifice something for something else, right? Usually it's in chess you sacrifice material for an advantage in position, right? In this case, you sacrifice a class for something pleasurable, right? Or just something that's like takes your mind off the actual thoughts of like classes and the fact that you have a bunch of stuff to do, right? You just stop, take a moment, you appreciate life a little more, okay? That slowly evolved into any time that I would basically either skip a class or just any time that I actually just felt like getting Chick-fil-A, I would get something called what is now known as the Chick-fil-A Gambit, the new world renowned and renewed Chick-fil-A Gambit, right? It's probably like version like 3.1 or whatever, but basically, like I said, it's those things, okay? And then it's also key 2 Chick-fil-A sauces, okay? And then 2 zesty buffaloes. You put the zesty buffaloes, 1 on each of the sandwiches, right? And so I was pretty much telling him that. I was like, every time I skip a class, I pull a Chick-fil-A Gambit. You know, that was my go-to meal back when I had the meal slice. And he's like, dude, that's so sick, right? And so I go through the whole thing. And keep in mind, because for the last couple of days, and especially Thursday, I did not eat well on Thursday. The only thing I had on Thursday, I'm pretty sure, was basically just non-bread, well, not non-bread, it was like pita bread, and then like slices of cheese. And I'm pretty sure I realized halfway through that one of the pieces of bread had mold on it. I was like, oh shit, so I threw that shit away. And so naturally, I just didn't eat well because that was the only thing in my system. And on Friday, I hadn't eaten yet, right? So basically, on Friday, I was a hungry motherfucking big bag, okay? And I had that shit, and I devoured it, and I had zero regrets. Because the thing is, like, nowadays, the Chick-Fil-A Gambit, another part of the Gambit you have to worry about is that there's about a 50% chance that you go home and you absolutely destroy your toilet, right? And so that day, I just didn't have to worry about it because it was such needed for my body to actually have just something in my system that I was like, bro, at least we have this in the system, right? I'm probably getting more fucking cavities or whatever, but I mean, really, who cares? I'm probably gonna just like find a way to schedule something with a dentist in my area, just because I think it is important, and I have been stressing about my teeth, but that's unrelated, okay? So yeah, that was the return of the Chick-Fil-A Gambit, and so that was fun, okay? 34 through 35, man. And what should we name this one? Okay, this is the last one. Usually I group weekend episodes into 2 episodes, so, or do a weekend into 1 episode, so, Sorry, partway through I feel something weird with one of my teeth. That's very strange. Okay, whatever. Oh, fucking teeth. Hang on. I'm sorry, I hate to do this again, but I think it's just something weird happened with one of my teeth. Let me check. Alright. Let's see. Oh, fuck me. Come on. Really? It's still wet over here? I thought we were done with that shit. Hang on. Okay. Honestly, we're just gonna name it Scuffed. That's just the perfect word to describe this weekend. It really is. I mean, basically just to summarize this weekend, okay? I've been worrying about my teeth, okay, stressing that I'm gonna need like freaking like fillings and hopefully not root canals or some shit, but like I've been stressing about it, okay? Then on top of that, okay, oh my gosh, it's just been like there's just no other way to describe it. I don't even know, because like nothing really happens over the weekend, okay? I was working on that one music thing that just like, like I'm not gonna get paid for it or anything, and then there's just like, bro, I can't even lie, I don't know if I talked about it, bro, but dude, Mario Kart Wii, like, okay, I recently found a way to basically hook up Mario Kart Wii to an online server. It's like this thing called like WeamFi or whatever that was like people created after servers went down for Nintendo, and so I'm able to play online because of it, which is fantastic, and it is a lot of fun, but it's taken up a lot of time, and sometimes it kind of just frustrates me, so Oh, man, it's just another thing that I'm devoting my time to when I really should be devoting my time to more important things. It's just this weekend was just scuffed. It really was. There's no other way to describe it. So, you know what? Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. So, our plan for the week, okay? The plan for the week is that we need to start by getting as much homework done as we possibly can, right? I want to blaze through. I want to make sure that we get pretty much almost everything done that we can so that we're not stressing about it next week, okay? Especially tomorrow, I want to get done, let me see homework. I want to get done, what are some other good examples? Let's see, I really definitely want to try and get done the cool unk homework as well. I think that's probably a good starting point. We can probably go from there. But yeah, this week is literally just like prep for the next week, because the next week is going to be awful. Okay, we need to get done internships. We need to get it done. We need to revamp the resume, and we need to get that freaking portfolio. We've been using it as an excuse for going on 35 episodes now, and that's about like 5 weeks. We need to get it done. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. And then like work, and then Big Brother when we have time, because I think we will have the time this week. So what did we learn from this last week? Okay, well, we learned that sometimes unexpected things just happen, right? You know what? I'm gonna go back on that. Yeah, no. We'll keep going with that. Sometimes unexpected things just happen, you know, and you really have to wait until you hear the full story before you assume anything, right? There are just some days where it feels like the teacher is just going to hate you, okay? But it's not completely done, okay? The scenario that you are thinking of that is the worst possible scenario, and the scenario that actually will happen in real life can end up being two completely different things. You just have to wait it out and see what the actual thing that happens actually is, right? And so that's important, right? Number one, don't confuse things from your head. Don't confuse the scenarios in your head with scenarios that happen in real life, okay? Number two is going to be the fact that sometimes your resources are going to quit on you. There's a great phrase, I believe it is it's either from the Jungle Book or from Lion King. It's on one of those. When the world turns their back on you, you turn your back on the world, okay? If your resources go down, that just gives you an excuse to go harder, okay? You don't stop because you feel weakened, okay? You keep going because it makes you stronger, okay? Push through adversity, fight through it, and you will eventually find yourself stronger than you were before, okay? That's number two. Number three, sometimes, like I said, you know, like when I was cleaning up the water out the carpet, sometimes you just don't have any other option but to keep applying pressure. And if you don't keep applying pressure, then what ends up happening is that you ease up, you get complacent, and then life just hits you harder, like a truck that hits you harder than the first time it hits you. And so really what you have to do is you just have to keep going. You just can't stop. You keep on freaking going until you make it where you're trying to go. That's all I got for today and this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. And I promise this time I will actually see you guys again tomorrow. Cut.